This book was written by Charles Haanel over 100 years ago, and just like any truth, it can withstand the test of time. It can withstand the test of time in all situations, all circumstances, and the truth is ever present. This book is an answer to understanding our mind. This book is an answer to understanding thinking and how this works. These are things that we have and that we do that are in our day-to-day functions, but this book brings it to light, how it works, how it affects our external circumstances, our mood, the results that we get in this life. This book explains everything. Congratulations on learning more about this book, whether you've read it or not. Congratulations, because this book is an answer to many of life's questions, problems, some of the biggest ideas of life. This book explains it step by step in a scientific manner, provides evidence, reason, logic, so that we can understand it in a simple way. And when I say things that we use, these things could be our brain, our thinking, things that we do every single day. This book covers on how it affects us, the results that we get in our life, and how we can immediately make changes to fix the things that we actually don't want in our life. If our things are repeating over and over again and our solutions don't work, this book has an answer to that, why it's happening in the first place, and how to fix these things. And some words used in this book to describe it could be the law of vibration. The law of vibration is a universal law, as well as the law of attraction. So the law of attraction and the law of vibration say that what we are is what we get. And the book goes into this. It might be hard if this is the first time that we're hearing about these ideas to grasp it. If we've never been exposed to these ideas and it's not common, or we haven't done our research on it and we just kind of listen to what other people say, this stuff will sound super far-fetched. But you're here for a reason, so we're going to cover some of this in detail. So one important fact about this book is that it has a wealth of knowledge in it. It has tons of information on the law of attraction, how this works in practical steps. But the most important part about this book is the step at the end to take practical action towards bettering ourselves in this area. So that reading the information and just getting it through us, audio form, whether we read it, could be of some value, but the real value in this book is to do the practical step that is mentioned by Charles Haanel at the end of each part. And I will mention that at the end of this video so that we can provide, so we can actually take action on what we've learned through this part and take those practical steps in getting better. All right, so we're gonna get into the juicy parts of this part 1, Master Key System. And like I said, there are some technical terms, so we're gonna cover some terminology, how this works, and we're gonna piece together things that we already know about ourselves, our mind, our brain, our functioning, to what this book says in a simple way. So it could get pretty technical, and the idea is that it's not going to be hard to grasp it because of the technical terms and its new language, or things are too complicated for us. The reason why we wouldn't grasp this material is because it might be too far-fetched from what we consider as normal, of what we consider as our day-to-day existence and how things work. We probably wouldn't have these conversations with many other people. So these ideas in this book can be hard to grasp only because of our current beliefs and the way that we see the world. But if this is the first time that we're hearing it, that is good, because we are implanting new brain cells so that we can grasp the material again and again and again, and then those become stronger and they become more familiar with us. But for now, if we don't have any brain cells about these ideas and these topics, this may be a shock, and it may be a bit hard to understand the first time around. Charles Haanel starts off this part 1 by stating that there are two worlds. There's the external world of physical things or reality, outdoors, any object that we can touch, smell, taste, feel, and see. But there is also an internal world that is totally invisible. And these two worlds combine to create our reality. The part that we're gonna kind of have to wrap our heads around is that the internal world has an impact on the external world. Instead, what we think of vice versa is the physical world determining who we are, how we feel, how we go about our day-to-day lives. But the reality is that the internal world, the internal feelings that we have, the state that we embody, our thoughts, is what impacts the physical world. This is going to seem totally far-fetched, and you're going to say, Darren, what do you mean? Does this mean that I can think about something and make it happen right in front of my eyes, like bending this pen with my mind? Not exactly, but the idea is that over circumstances, over an amount of time, if we are thinking in a certain way, then our life has to change in the direction of what we are thinking, the feelings that we have, the level of our vibration that we are in. And this determining factor is the internal feeling that we have that will have an influence. For example, this could be changing a new job, right? It's one thing to say that I hate my job, I don't like this, just kind of complaining about it all the time. But if our mind can conceive what the ideal job or situation or circumstance is in detail, we would then get excited about it and therefore take the actions to get into that new job, compared to complaining about our current situation and circumstance and trying to fix it in the physical world. We really just need to look inward and find out what we are thinking and how we can think better about that subject. The idea goes on to say that every external possession, situation, and circumstance is dependent on the world within. How we are functioning in our brain, in our mind, in our body determines how things happen outside. And another way to phrase this is that the state that we get, the things that we have, is determined on our state of consciousness. If you're conscious about the things that we want and that we're working towards, we're going to actually get those things. The internal and external world is the main topic of this first part, and this goes on to say that we are in relation with the external world through our five senses. Our five senses pick things up in our external environment, say that this is hot, this is cold, the day is bright and sunny today or dark and gloomy. Our senses pick that up and then therefore get interpreted by our brain. The internal world, however, is just a bit different. The internal world is just a bit different. So our external world is, we are in contact with the external world through our brain and our nervous system. And the internal world is just a bit different because this world is of the subconscious mind, or the invisible, subconscious, all-knowing mind. And this is where most of our results, where things happen, is through the subconscious mind. One is not more important than the other, but they both work together. And the organ of the subconscious mind is the solar plexus. The solar plexus is located somewhere in our abdomen region, and this is responsible for getting those gut feelings where we have contact through the universal mind. We get so consumed by our objective mind because we always have thoughts coming in, things are stimulating our senses, we can think clearly when we're awake with our objective mind. We use it all the time, and sometimes we get so caught up with it, but we don't realize that we have a subconscious mind that is influencing us more than our conscious mind. The subconscious mind is on 100% of the time. Whether we're sleeping, we're awake, or we're dreaming, the subconscious mind is always operating in the background, and it's responsible for our sympathetic nervous system, which governs our heartbeat, our nails. We're not consciously telling our hair to grow, but our subconscious mind takes care of so many functions that we can't even think of, including digestion, including healing, including just keeping our body in the best optimal condition. That is the subconscious mind in action. And there is no understating this subconscious mind. We are not consciously telling our subconscious to take care of us, to do all of these things, but where does it get that information to do those things? What is the operating system of the subconscious mind that gives it the power to automatically fix these things in our body? If we get a cut, I don't have to tell the cut to heal. The subconscious mind will take care of that. And where is the source for that? So the idea is that the subconscious mind is connected to universal intelligence. universal creative intelligence that governs operating of the whole universe that is inside of us. So if it is everywhere, if the universe is everywhere and encompassing all things, then it at least needs to be within us. And the subconscious mind is that part of us that is part of all universe. So we have direct contact with source, with creation at its whole. Some of these ideas may be far out. These may be things that we've never heard of before. To say that the solar plexus in our abdomen is the main driver of our life. It is the engine, it is the powerhouse that governs us with all of our abilities. Everything that we get, that we earn, the way that we live our life is the solar plexus. So this is what I mean. These ideas may be far out, but if you're open to it, this may spark our imagination and start looking into these things and start being conscious of the subconscious mind. If we want to get to a place from A to B, there's a right way to think to get us there. So the mind, the universal mind, as we spoke about, source of all intelligence, is everywhere at all times, and this energy is static energy. This energy just is, it permeates all things, everywhere in the universe. It's static. And we've been given the gift of the mind, our objective mind, to think. So we take the static form of creation, of this all-present energy, and we can put it into action through our mind, through thinking. So thinking is a form of action when we consider the static energy of the mind. We take it into dynamic energy when we think. We put it into creation. We create something out of it. So creating thoughts and ideas is putting that infinite intelligence, that source, infinite energy source into action. So now we understand the static mind, infinite intelligence that permeates every single atom and molecule that exists. And we have our thoughts, our objective mind that puts that energy into creation, and it makes it dynamic. So knowing this structure, we know that there is a cause and effect. So the causes that we are responsible for are our thoughts. Our thoughts are the causes that we put into play. So like I said, thoughts they could seem random, but we can also choose what we want to think of. So choosing certain thoughts of abundance, of the reality that we want, our ideals, that is the cause that we are putting into this world. Everything is directed towards growth. Every animal, every insect. If you look at the tree outside, it will never take a day off and say that I am done growing for today. That's all I've had. It will never retire if it was its choice. But just like you and me, we always want to grow towards something better. And this is seen in every single piece of existence in nature for expansion, for a fuller life. So that is the general direction that we need to go in to be in line with this universal power. So the first step of the Master Key System is to sit in a chair. Believe that, how hard can that be, right? Some people will pass this first step easier than others. It might be a big challenge, but we have to sit in a chair for 30 minutes and do nothing. Close our eyes for 30 minutes. And if you think you can do that, if you can manage to get through this first step, congratulations. Do it at least 4 more times over the next 4 days, if not the week. And if that step hasn't been completed, we do not move on to the second part. It is imperative that the first step is completed before moving on to the second part. This is the main point of the book. This is what gives the book its power, is to be able to do what is said in this book, in this part 1. Yes, we can retain information through listening, through reading, but actually taking this step, taking this practical action, is where the real benefit comes from. You are on an amazing path if you are learning about this information, and I hope that it treats you well and that it works for you and that things come together. So thank you for watching. Take care.